Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Parents and Professors Podcast. I'm Dr. Marjorie Dorime-Williams.
And I am Dr. Michael Stephen Williams. Today we're talking about something that literally every co-parent struggles with, but nobody wants to admit it.
And I will say this is another like co-parent, but also like any version of parent, and it's money. And specifically, really, how do you talk to your co-parent about money without it turning into World War III?
Have more money than them. But anyway, whether you're married, divorced, or somewhere in between, if you've ever had to negotiate who pays for what or felt judged by a spending choice or judged by your co-parent spending choice, then this episode is for you.
So we're going to get into some frameworks and really think about how do we figure out our financial spending and expenses. And we don't have all the answers. I feel like we have to say that every episode. But we do have some tools and tips that we think are helpful. And as a reminder, this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The views expressed are our own, and our discussions are based on personal experience, publicly available information, and our general knowledge.
Without further ado, let's get into it.
Yo parents, professors. Yo parents, professors.
So we've been having conversations for a while now. Indirect conversations?
No, direct conversations. Don't you dare.
About our financial situation. Our financial situation, particularly in regards to the kids.
I believe Kanye captured it best when he said, "We ain't got it."
So, okay, I think the challenge is, for example, I had the kids and took them to the bookstore the other day. Those of you who know me know how much I love books. Like when I grow up, I want to be a librarian. That's my next career. Like libraries are my happy place.
So you be popping books like people be popping bottles in a club.
How can you say, first of all, our kids can't read good, as we have discussed.
No, our kids can read good.
But the
because
reason
they're
they can read good-
very booked up.
Because they get books. And so, you know, when they're like, oh, can we get or can we have? And it comes to books, like,
But there's this amazing service, and you just mentioned it because you said that's what you want to do in a future career. It's called a library. And library has this thing called free books.
we also went to the library, but sometimes the library doesn't have the book.
That you need urgently. So you go to the library and you order the book because you know how to delay gratification, no?
This is why we have to have these discussions. So books as an example, but I know I'm not the only parent in this co-parenting situation.
That is a
Who
wild. No, I just buy them
is-
stuff they need. Like if they need new soccer cleats, then I'm gonna buy them new soccer cleats.
The amount of Nike gear that our children have.
Oh,
really-
well, you have to. Well, this is the first non-scholar shout out. Shout to Sheldon Fields, who used to work at Nike and blessed me with that mega discount when we visited in Portland. Yeah, so I copped a bunch of stuff for them. But that was all above board. It was all things that they needed, all things that they wore for an extended amount of time. And part of the reason that you pay for high quality goods like that is that they're going to last a long time.
Mhm.
The problem now is the boy and the older girl are...
Keep growing.
Yeah, they're just in the
Keep
crazy
growing.
growth spurt. So it feels like you got to spend $300 every 2 weeks just to have them have gear that's available.
It's really wild. But I think that this is a good example of how there are different things that we think about or prioritize as parents. And, you know, do they need clothes? Yes. Do they need books?
Hold on, now,
Also, yes.
Now I'm reconsidering it. Do they need clothes? Do
I mean, right?
do they need clothes
Do
as
they
much as I
need
need clothes?
Nike drip? Like,
Well, they need not basic gonna rip the first time they kneel. Like if you put your kids in Walmart jeans, the first time that they get down on their knees to pick something up, there's gonna be a hole in the kneecap. So you gotta. There's certain you're paying for quality. I'm not gonna. I will
don't
not
do
fight
Walmart
about
like
that.
that because sometimes they'll be carrying. They do sometimes carry real brands. Like
Like
I
what?
found a really cute
Give-
pair of Levi, like real
Levi, okay,
yeah.
okay.
So you know,
Levi's solid.
but I get what you're saying. So all that to say, we are clearly still having these conversations, and I think when it comes to budgeting and spending, it's already difficult, right, for any adult. And then you throw kids into the mix, and then you add on And also, we're in a co-parenting situation and don't necessarily live in the same house or budget
I know
together
so
in the
many.
same way.
No, we should be budgeting together still. That's probably one of the revelations that we had recently. But I think that that's also the impetus for this episode.
Yes.
But I also will share that I know countless parents and professors who are living on a prayer as far as their finances. Like, oh, if I don't look, maybe maybe I'll be good.
It's interesting. I learned that I have friends who I mean, I guess layaway and like those Clarion like paying installments.
Oh, like Klarna,
Yeah, Klarna, that's it.
Yeah.
And like I was like, oh, I mean, I guess
modern
vacation
layaway.
layaway. But no, I guess it's no different than putting it on a credit card because you are.
No, it is different than putting it on a credit card.
Is it?
The interest impact is different.
Oh, it's okay. It's lower.
Yeah.
But again, it's, I think there's this idea of, maybe particularly for millennial age parents of here are all the things that we couldn't do or couldn't get when we were kids. And now we're better positioned theoretically than our parents were.
No, but there's many more
Collectively.
Yeah, I think
Collectively, yes.
I think there are many more predatory things, but I'm old enough to remember layaway.
Yes.
Like my
at
mom would be
Kmart.
like, no, we're not getting that today. We're gonna put it on layaway, which means we put a little bit of money
On it
and
every
then
month.
you can get it in
You
the
know what?
future.
I think we need to go back to that. I think we need to go back to, layaway is essentially just envelopes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also a way of delaying gratification that people don't necessarily stick to the way that they should. And so, like Klarna, some of that stuff is predatory because if you're not paying attention, there are ways that the interest rate or what you're paying is so much more than
Yes.
the actual product would be worth. It'd be better for you to just
No,
sit and save and figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, because money is one of the top issues in relationships in general. So like, I'm always tickled when it's like, oh, financial mismatch is one of the leading causes of divorce.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, well, that's why you marry somebody that's just as broke as you are, and then you don't have to worry about that. You can figure all that out later.
I don't think that's the solution,
Exactly.
Michael.
I mean, the solution too would have been you being a college president, but I digress.
But I do think, part of what you're saying in terms of what it means in a relationship to be able to have these discussions, part of what can make it challenging is, what we bring to the table, what informs our perspectives, how we grew up, what our parents taught us about money or didn't teach us about money, right? And all of those things really, I think, can be difficult to figure out as you figure out being an adult, and then also in a relationship, and then in a relationship with children, right? Like there's so many layers to it. And I think especially because of the, I remember my dad had me convinced that the utility company was coming to shut off our power any day now.
Family mia.
Family mia. Why are all the lights on? Like I was obsessively flicking down light switches. Like, oh my God, you guys left the lights on. And so, that scarcity mindset was valuable growing up because it made me appreciate the things that we had. It made me, I think, more readily accept when there was a no to something because it's like, oh, well, we don't have it anyway. I think now our kids are like, oh, and in fact, I think I told this story before, Makari's birthday party, where we went to St. Louis Aquarium, whatever, with her and a bunch of her friends
We
for
have
the
a
day.
more recent version of that with the boy when we were in Cabo.
Oh, that was wild. Actually, yes, because I would never.
Are you going to tell the story or am I going to?
You're going to tell the story because I feel like that was a you interaction.
So and recognize that this story is starting in a wild place when we're talking about fiscal responsibility.
We were not being responsible.
I mean, the planning could have been better.
It could have been better
I think
planning.
that's worth talking through.
The execution.
So we went to Cabo as a family of 6, which is myself, Dr. Dorime-Williams, my wife Donna, and all 3 of the collective children. So Maximilian, Macaria, and Maya. It happened to overlap with the 5-year-old turning 5. So she felt like we were in Cabo for her and was getting premium treatment at every restaurant and getting
There were a lot of
little flashers and
sparklers.
Yeah, a lot of sparklers, a lot of little trinkets, couch for her specific sleeping needs only at Nobu. She was accommodated very excellently. But one of the places that we went to is like, kind of a traditional Mexican spot. Like got margaritas, tacos, burritos, like
By the
whatever.
water.
Yeah, in the marina area. And everybody in the family is making these completely reasonable orders. And my son pulls up the menu and is like, you know what I need? I need the thing that costs 6 times more than anything anybody else is ordering. This nigga's getting a lobster at a taco spot. Like the entire lobster.
It was a whole lobster.
And I was like,
It was big.
yeah, I was like, yo, my guy, you recognize, like, hey, just look at the menu. I would like you to look at the prices of the things that have been ordered by the rest of your family members. He looks away, looks down, looks into the windows of my soul, and it's like, no, this is what I want.
Just, there was no budge. He was like, yeah, no, this is it. I would immediately, at his age, have been like, I'm not ordering this because it is the most expensive thing on the menu.
It's the gift and the curse of them not ever having to think about it.
Yeah, we got to revise.
Yeah, we got to revise and resubmit their fiscal responsibility because obviously we're doing something wrong. Because I grew up similarly. Not
Yes.
even, I recognize, one, how hard my mother worked. My mother was a single parent. She's a registered nurse. She was in the military. She also did civilian nursing on the side. So she was constantly working. And I knew because she was very transparent about budgeting when I was at a very early age, because I guess I was kind of the man in the house because I was the oldest. She was like, no. No was a frequent response to almost any ask. And I think that one of the things that there were two effects. And I think that that's part of what I'm concerned as a parent. Because on the one side, it was, hey, I have a sense that we do have finite resources and we need to be careful about like what we need and what we ask for. But then on the other side, it was, all right, I just expect the answer to be no, so I need to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, so like I'm not even gonna. At a certain point, you just stop asking. Like I'm not gonna ask you for that because you're just gonna tell me no, and I can save myself the interaction. I can save myself the disappointment of the no, and I can start working to figure out how to get it myself. Whether it's like a job or hustling or like stealing or whatever the right way to go about it was. And I worry that some of the money conversations as an adult, you don't really revisit it. You don't really revisit like, what is your relationship with money? How were you taught to think about money? How were you taught to think about credit and credit card use? How were you taught to think about investing? And so much of what I want to work with our children with now, and what I like actively do work with them now, is just having a respect for money and what money can do for you if you use it correctly. Every time that they get an allowance, yes, we give them an allowance. It's not because they do chores. It's so that they learn how to manage money, and I will pay them extra for like special occasion things that I need them to do that are above and beyond just generally taking care of our house, because you should want to help take care of our house.
Yeah, chores are not like a
chores are not
negotiating
something to be
thing. I'm
paid
not
for.
paying you for that. It's you taking care of the space that you live in.
Yeah, but I'm happy to like, hey, if you go above and beyond in some way, or if you provide a service that is valuable, that isn't just related to general upkeep of the house, or like you taking care of your own responsibilities and your own laundry, then I'm happy to throw them some money.
Right.
And every time they get paid, it's like, hey, some of that needs to be spent. Like you can keep some in your little green light account in the spending space. Some of it needs to be invested. Here are good tickers. Let's talk about it. Let's watch Market Mondays and, other financial intelligence related TV shows so that you have a sense of where to put your money.
Mm-hmm.
And then save some, because you never know. Like you need a rainy day fund. And the kids excel in different ways. Makaria is a fervent, thoughtful, consistent investor.
She loves investing.
Yeah, and every time she's like, it seems like the market is up. Can I see my green light account? Yeah, she's like already got 2 racks in there, basically really great tickers, VTI, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia. She's thoughtful about it. The son is more of a invest with my spirit. He's like, I like video games, so I'm gonna buy Nintendo. And I'm like, bro.
Oh, invest in his spirit.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
he's like, whatever his spirit animal is like, let me buy things that I would want to use. So like, can I buy PlayStation stock? Is that possible?
Oh.
Yeah. And so even that, I think philosophically teaching your kids how to think about even where they put their money.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want to put it where it's going to grow the most? Yes. But also put it in places where you believe in it. You believe in the product, or
Right,
you actually use the product.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And I feel like the other thing in terms of finances and parenting is also this balance between wanting to give them not just what they need, but also wants, right? Like, and almost I don't know if it's the opposite of what you said, but that there was this consistent denial of things. And like, I worked since I was like 8 years old.
I come from work.
Seriously. Like,
Green, green.
immigrant work ethic. I, was working in my parents' pharmacy from the age of 8 on. And it definitely taught me, I opened up my own bank account and I would get $20 at the end of the day and be like, ooh, I'm like balling.
20 cash in a day is actually balling out of control for a child. Even if it's a major violation of child labor laws.
So illegal.
I mean, the statute of limitations has passed, so.
I remember people coming to the pharmacy and I'd be at the register and I'd be like, how can I help you? And they're like, where's the adult?
why is there an extremely short?
It's a small child, right? And I also look younger than I actually am, so
yeah, still do black don't crack. But
all of that in terms of thinking about, balancing absolutely there's a need to be responsible and to teach our kids how to think about and use money responsibly and also have fun.
Yeah, and I think that goes to one of the important distinctions, like there's a difference between I can't afford it and this is not aligned with my priorities, or like this is not how I wish to spend my money.
Right.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm pretty proud of as a father is that I've socialized my daughters to be comfortable asking for anything and everything. And so, the word no makes my teeth wetter. I'm like, no. Because they'll just ask. They'll ask me like, Maya's sitting next to me on the couch. Like, she's actually physically closer to the refrigerator. And it's like, Poppy, can you give me some water?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Get it yourself.
Yeah. But like I do like that in you. Like, continue to ask for the things that you want throughout your life. Just know that the answer is not always going to be yes.
So I really appreciate what you were saying about being values aligned. I think that for us, both when we were married and then divorcing and now as co-parents, I think one of the things that helped us get on the same page were having frameworks or approaches that we could talk about and think about. And when I think about, values and what do we want our lives to look like and what do we want our kids' lives to look like, it reminded me of Tiffany Alice's book, So Get Good with Money. And
I wish we had it.
I know. We will absolutely put it in the show
wait,
notes.
I might.
Do you? Okay. Do you want to?
No, keep going now.
Okay. So I think the thing that, or one of the things that I really liked about Tiffany's book and her approach, and so, I'm like signed up for her like Dreamcatcher group, and he's really going to go get the book. So I'm signed up for the Dreamcatcher group and, have read her book. One of the things that I think I really appreciate, you have both of them. Get Good with Money. And, okay. Made Whole. So
and you got to support Black authors.
But the thing about it that I really appreciate is that value alignment, right? Like, it's not just about, debt and saving money and budgeting and having a plan, which all of those things are important, but her approach really thinks about how are you framing your decisions in terms of what you're hoping to achieve or what you want. And I think when we talk about our kids, right, like there are things that we want for them, and like being able to be aligned on what we want for our kids and that our money follows that plan, I think has been really helpful, right? So, what experiences do we want them to have? International travel is a thing that we are both invested in. And
all three of us are invested in.
Oh, I mean, yes.
And really, much more the mothers of my children than me. I'm cool traveling domestically, y'all. Don't let them fool you.
Yo.
There's so many beautiful cities in the United States of America that don't require global entry or passport to leave and get back and forth. And given the nature of international travel with the current administration, we might need to double down on what can we do without leaving the country. However, I will let you continue.
Yo, the point being that
don't marry bougie.
We sent our son on an international trip.
We did.
Because we thought it was an important and useful experience.
I want him to have experiences that I never got to have. My son, he loves to flex about having been to Australia and New Zealand.
It's just like favorite
And
thing.
yeah, it's so random.
When I went to Australia. Right, but
Yeah, but I respect, and we got to continue to expand his borders. He needs some other countries.
Yes.
Like, it can't just be Mexico and Australia.
Yes.
You gotta-
So I think that having that like shared vision is something that's really important and something that we have continued to talk about and have conversations around because those things might change, right? Like, and what mattered to us as parents of, an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old is very different than what matters to us as parents of a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old.
yeah.
And so like I just think that that alignment really makes a difference so that you can have conversations about, okay, maybe now we're talking about, investing in what schools they go to, right? Like maybe you're thinking about private school or the extracurriculars that they participate in, like we do. But, now it's college. Like that really is the conversation. College.
Oh, I was very clear. It's like, you either get it together or you go where I work, boy. That's it.
I'm hoping that that's not the case. But
Yeah.
all that to say,
Mizzou was a high quality school. Depends on your major. What a top thing, but I don't want him living in the town where we live. I don't want him to be coming home bumming food. I don't want him bringing the whole crew here to eat at my house
I mean,
because those are things that he will do.
Absolutely. So I think that,
Like, oh, we don't need a dining hall. My dad lives right around the corner. We're just gonna go kick it.
those things. So all that to say that those decisions and being aligned on those decisions matter, and like making time to have those conversations, and not just between parents or co-parents, but like Michael was saying, including your children in these discussions, right? Like that's how they learn. Because I know I didn't.
Yeah. Communication is a huge thing. It's one of the themes that kind of goes throughout everything that we talk about. But communicating with your children, giving them a sense of how much things cost, while also not necessarily putting a poverty mindset in there. We're like, hey, no, this is not free. I work for this. There's not an unlimited supply of money, though I aspire to that. And we're hustling right now to try to make the supply more unlimited. So I'm interested because I think Tiffany Aliche and Dave Ramsey are probably the two authors that were most helpful to us.
Yes.
When we were thinking about money, both married and divorced. So what do you think about Tiffany Aliche's lessons are particularly valuable for parents or co-parents who might be struggling to think about how to prioritize?
I appreciate the almost like realistic flexibility in her approach and the way that she talks about, like, yes, there are these sort of concrete specific things that when it comes to finances, we're concerned about, like debt and saving and wanting to buy wants and needs and taking care of, the things that you have to take care of, but also that there's this almost like a holistic approach to it, right? Like there's a whole view of the person.
Is it like Soul Cycle for money?
Actually, I was thinking more of like a cura personalis, like the Jesuit, care for the whole person. It's a Jesuit value.
Don't be trying to put St. Joe stuff on our podcast.
I'm just saying, we know who the cool ones are.
Oh.
But it really is a much more holistic approach. And so as opposed to you should or should not spend on this, or you spent too much on this, it's, how does this thing align with my values and goals? And does it bring me towards, whatever the thing is that I want to achieve? So it's not to say that you can't go to a concert or go on a trip, but it just needs to be aligned with your larger goals.
Give me an example of something you spent money on that you don't feel like was aligned with your larger goals recently. And be honest.
Eating out in so many ways is not aligned with any of my goals.
Say more.
So fiscally is an easy one. It costs more to eat out than it does to make the thing at your house. That's one. Two, health-wise, I have made such gains and I feel so good about myself right now. And I recognize that it's just harder to maintain that when you're eating junkety McJunk at, restaurant XYZ where everything is fried. So,
I heard a very interesting story that I didn't know if you were going to share or not. But since we're on the topic,
yes,
I got to ask the question.
Uh-oh.
Did you or did you not participate in the Y2K menu at Taco Bell recently?
Oh, you did not sell me out. Whoa.
I asked the question. I said, did you or did you not?
My coach watches the show.
That's called dry snitching.
Oh my goodness. Okay, wait. Actually, you know what?
Do you consider that eating out? Or did you just
All
try
of
to
it.
erase that? You flashy thing that from your
All
memory?
of it. So here's the thing. I loved caramel empanadas, and I used to eat at Taco Bell more than anybody really should. And I was with a friend who it was late, some adult beverages had been had, and they were like, I really just need to go to Taco Bell. And I'm like, no, you don't. We're adults. Like, nobody needs to go to Taco Bell. And I realized, you know what? It's fine because I'm not eating this anyway. Who am I to stand in your way?
I'm traveling.
Cool. I will bring you to the Taco Bell. So we get to the Taco Bell and they're like, no, you should really get something. And I'm like, no, I'm good. And then I looked and they had the Taco Bell Decades menu.
I don't know if the camera's picking up the sparkle in her eyes. That's
So the first thing I saw was the Cool Ranch Doritos taco.
yeah.
I used to
Doritos logos.
smash those. Oh, they
Yeah.
were so good.
We ate way too many of them, Jones.
Way too many. But then I was like, oh, caramel empanada. I was like, yeah, I could do that. Like, it's just like this perfect little pastry puff of deliciousness. Oh, and it was, you know what? It was worth it. I will take first of all, it was like 27 Weight Watchers points. Like, that's your, that's all my points for the day plus 5. So, like, I know I have no business eating this, but it was so delicious. It was so delicious. I didn't need that. I don't need to be spending money at Taco Bell.
Yeah. So, but you don't eat out frequently enough in terms of fast food for it to be a problem. You're much more restaurants.
Right. I'm not rolling up to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like, it's, if I'm eating, I want food or as real to like a meal.
I think
as
I think that's a difficult one because even as you were talking about it, if I were being honest, I actually do think that at least in my new marriage that fine dining is a value. And it's something that we also want to expose the children to. And so it's like the balance between like how much can you really do that and not. So when we were in Cabo, we scheduled Nobu.
Yeah.
Nobu's phenomenal. I love it. Me and my wife have been many times, usually for like a birthday or some kind of celebration by ourselves, but it was really cool to be able to involve the family in it. And I know that it's a meaningful memory, but I also know that it costs a significant amount to do a cost for
meaningful bill.
Yeah, it was like, is that rent? Yeah, and
Here's my mortgage.
and so I'm trying to figure out like what is the obviously very familiar with Tiffany's framework,
Yes.
but what is the balance? So like if your value is kind of outside of your
Budget.
well, yeah, I mean in some ways like that's exactly what it is. And
Right.
I would consider vacation like that sometimes.
No, right.
Like-
Travel, vacation and travel to me feels like a necessity. And that's right. Similar position is like, is it though? Because you could really just sit your behind.
I could really just not have this, delightfully, perfectly sliced hamachi in.
Or when I get my first class upgrades, oh, so nice.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so I guess how do you reconcile that, right? Especially both individually, but also collectively. Like, how do you reconcile a set of values or a set of experiences that you want that may be a little bit beyond? Or I guess how do you plan for it appropriately?
I mean, I think that's you mentioned Dave, and so I think that's a good bridge because I think Tiffany's approach provides flexibility and helps you think about where your values are and what your goals are and how to align your spending with those things. And isn't necessarily like, oh, you have to stop everything to do these things. It might take a little bit longer though. I think with Dave, there is a discipline there that can help you get to those things.
Debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid off home mortgage is the new BMW. Well, wait, no, the new status symbol of choice.
Yes.
Yeah, whenever I feel like I'm wilding, I just need like my
Put on
angry
Dave.
old white coach, financial coach yelling at me.
He's very, like, he could also be like a high school football coach.
High
and
school
was
football coach,
totally-
military, master sergeant, like drill.
drill instructor. So I think it's to say that yes, you can have these things. It doesn't mean that you cannot, but you also have to align it with your budget. So no, you probably shouldn't be traveling if you cannot afford it, or to even the like Clarion, whatever. Oh, like cool. If you're gonna pay it in those 4 installments and it's you're banging it out.
You keep calling Klarna
I don't know.
Clarion.
Clarion. I don't know
Disrespect.
why.
They will never sponsor us.
This might be the reason to sponsor us, so that folks can remember. But yeah, I think I think for me, these are things that are important, and I would rather put my money here than other places, right? So there are trade-offs and there's a balance to it versus I want to do everything all the time everywhere. So I won't, buy clothes or shoes or like go shopping or handbags. That's an easy one. Like I could care less about a
I was about to
bag.
say, you don't care about
I
handbags.
care
what do you-
0% about a bag.
Yeah.
Like that's just not my thing. But if you tell me I could be on a warm sandy beach with an adult beverage and a little umbrella in my glass, then sign me up.
Yeah. I think from a fundamental standpoint, I actually like Ramsey a little bit better than the way that Tiffany Liche approaches things. Only because I know my personality, and my personality is I'm not a moderation person. I'm an abstinence. Like, if we're doing it, we're doing it. If we're not doing it, we're not doing it. Like, that's much easier than like, oh, like take one nibble or like take one. Like, no.
You
And
can't
so-
like take a piece and then put the rest of
No, nigga, I'm whooping the whole lemon meringue pie. Like, I'm like, what? Yeah. And I know that. And so it's helpful for me to have a framework where, like for me, the Dave Ramsey framework, the things that are most valuable to me and that continue to be really valuable, and also that like we'll have an argument about once we get off of this podcast, is zero-based budgeting. Like every dollar that comes into your house needs to have an assignment and a home and a goal that you're putting it toward. And you and I mean, we were like almost 70,000 in debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like we were able to work out of that in like basically
3 years.
2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
Because every single time that one of us got paid, we sat down together in front of the computer and we're like, this is what must be paid immediately, rent, utilities, credit cards, any of that type of stuff. And then, hey, there's only $25 left over for our discretionary this month. So here's your 25 and here's my 25.
And that's it.
And we're going to figure it out. And I think it also is helpful. And I think this is like a connection to the general relationship thing. The part of the reason that we're able to work so well together now as divorced couple and like co-parents is because we're actually friends. And so it's like most of the things that I'm most interested in doing are free and like fun and they could be done at home. Like, let's use our rent. Right? Let's use our cable bill, or like let's use our Netflix account.
This Netflix that we're paying for.
Yeah, exactly. Or like let's use this Crunchyroll. And so I think too, if I were to be concerned about anything, it would be, hey, we got away from zero-based budgeting.
Yeah.
And getting away from zero-based budgeting creates a whole lot of fiscal problems, because if you're not paying attention to where your dollars go, or if you start to have these like recurring expenses or bills that you're not really paying attention to and you're not really accounting for, then you could find yourself slipping into debt in a way that you just don't want to. And so I think the zero-based budget as a baseline is probably the most important thing that I would take from Ramsey.
It reminds me also of the fact that where we are now as professionals and individuals and co-parents is very different than we were. Shoot, 6, 7.
Oh,
Sorry,
Jesus.
I didn't mean to do it. It just happens. This is what happens when you have teenagers, y'all.
No, middle schoolers. There's much more.
Well, no, it's both of them.
It is both of them, but
It's,
yuck.
it's both of them.
But
The point being, we're in a different financial position now than we were
2009.
a couple of years ago. And so I think the scope creep is very real.
Scope creep is
right.
extremely
And so
real.
it's like, oh, this was our budget. But then, like we had, not only did we have more, we were making more. And with the consulting and the other work that we were doing, we were bringing in additional income on top of our like increased income. And so all of these little things started to creep into the budget and the way that we were moving, because it's like, oh, we've got it. And then, when an administration comes in and completely blows up all of those extra streams of income that you have, that significantly changes the math. But if your budget hasn't kept up with what you're actually spending, it can get really ugly really quick.
Yeah, and I think that's why sitting down with the budget, doing a zero-based budget, and reeling yourself in appropriately. because we wouldn't have let ourselves get out of control
If
as
we'd
much as
been
we did if we had been budgeting. It's like, I was like, I got
It's like,
money.
we got it.
Like, I'm out here like, I got money. You know it. Like, this away, that away. Right, like.
Money guns.
Yeah, exactly. Just supreme money guns everywhere. And so, like, tightening the belt back up and kind of getting back to the fundamentals, I think is really powerful and important. I think the other thing that I really like from Ramsey is the envelope system. So do you want to talk about the envelope system?
Yeah. So one of the things that Dave preaches is to be less reliant on credit cards, but also just swiping in general. And when you carry cash, which I've started doing again, you are much more aware of one, what you actually have to spend and what you don't have to spend.
Yeah, like I'm not breaking a 50 for this.
Yeah,
Skittles.
like I don't really need that. And it's true, because it's like I don't really need this thing. Like I don't want to break my $50 bill on.
Yeah. It's the same with the kids, because I'll be like, if you're swiping, there's no pain to like, oh, I'm just gonna tap this and there's gonna be this imaginary money that disappears from my account, and I'm gonna let my daughters buy Oreos and like unnecessary sodas at the gas station, for example. But when it's cash, I'm like,
no.
It don't have to be a 50. It could be a 10. I was like, I'm not breaking my 10 for no Oreos. Fam, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. So essentially, it's creating an envelope for all of your spending and your saving, right? There are envelopes for your spending, your saving. And
purchases that you're saving for.
Yes, and purchases that you're saving for. So it helps you to be more aware. Two, you're less reliant on swiping and not paying attention. You're not using credit, which is an easy way to get into trouble, right? Because that interest, you are killed by interest and fees. Like we unfortunately have a card that like is just lingering. It feels like a deadbeat family member that's just like in your house, like eating up your food.
It feels like an uncle that just won't go away.
Yeah, and it's like, how are you still here?
You know, it's funny because like we got that card under duress. I remember when you first got that card, like you applied for it, and we needed it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we needed every cent of the flexibility that it gave us. Yeah.
Jeez, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. And so we've had that card. We've been paying it off consistently. And so the total that we are allowed to borrow against that card has gone up by like 7 or 8x.
They keep increasing it though. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're like, oh, you guys must like us. And it seems like you keep spending on me. So I'm just going to linger here as a bill that beats you up every month.
On time every month. So
yeah, so we're just going to give you more.
Keep it coming.
And realize one of the things that I thought it was most important to realize is that credit card companies in general are very predatory, and they will give you as much rope to hang yourself with as possible. And so if they know that you're reliable about paying every month, even as the minimum payment balloons, they're going to just keep raising your available balance and your limit.
Like, need more space? That's cool.
But hey, we'll continue to bleed you slowly so that you can't take care of other things.
So don't do that. Don't make the mistake. And in fact, I think it's interesting too, because we've been there. We've gotten totally out of debt, like zero debt, no debt. And then it's like, oh, fuck. It's like working out. You can't, there are no days off. So
yeah, like going from to no bueno, because that's what it feels like. Like, and I'm as somebody who struggles and who has been on like a weight yo-yo for portions of his adult life. That's actually a really good analogy, right? Or like parallel. You don't get in shape and then stop working out and stop eating right because then you're going to get out of shape. Fiscally, things work exactly the same way. Like fiscally, going to the gym is sitting with your money and actually budgeting it and telling it where to go every month.
Yeah.
You know, your envelopes are your supplement packs and your vitamins, like, and your protein. Like, you have to do all of it, or else you're not going to stay in financial shape. And I think that that's really important, not only to like visit, but also revisit. And so transparently, we're in the process of doing some of that right now. We had some income streams from consulting that the current administration wiped out completely because they don't like people that are not.
And that are not what, Michael? Yo,
aligned with. Wait, hold on. Y'all trying to get me in trouble? They don't like people that are not aligned with particular political proclivities.
Okay, and their priorities.
And their priorities, quote unquote, which is to bankrupt the country and not have anybody have any health care, and to otherwise marginalize people who are already marginalized. However, those things being said, no matter where your streams of income are coming from, you do have to adjust. And the more often that you budget, really, you should be budgeting every single time that somebody gets paid.
And can I just, like, if you take nothing else away from this conversation, like, please, 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 as whatever your parenting situation is, and in fact, really, whatever your relationship situation is, like, you have to have a budget. Like, there's no way around it.
Yeah, you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan for your money. Absolutely.
So, in terms of thinking about execution and some of the things that we've done that's worked for us in terms of, how do we get on the same page? How do we make sure that we're aligned on what the kids need? How do we make sure that we have the same goals? Like, there are some, I think, really practical steps that people can take to get to that place. And the first one is to prepare, right? Like, you can't do anything if you're not prepared. That means looking at your, income, looking at your debt, coming with numbers and not just feelings. I think one of the blessings of us being divorced getting divorced when we did was that we made the same amount of money. So there was no fight about, well, you need to pay this much and I'm going to pay this much and you cover this and I cover this. Now, I make more than Michael does. And so,
Yeah, because I got good taste. Both my baby mamas make more money than me. You know what I mean? Don't worry about that. Yeah. Jealous?
Thank you, Michael. I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
but both of y'all make more money, but I'm the much more fiscally responsible and organized person when it comes to that stuff. So I'm the person who's like doing the first pass of the budget and sending you a Google Doc talking about like, hey, we might need to double check the way that we're going about this.
Yeah. And like having conversations about, who pays for what or like who splits what. Like, it's really important, again, to go back to those numbers and not just your feelings. Because it's very easy to feel like, oh, I do more or I pay more or I do this or you don't do this. And like, that's just not productive.
Yeah, and I think that that's a really important point, especially for people who have contentious relationships around money. One of the things that I really honor and respect about Marjorie is that when she started making more money, she was like, all right, I can put more towards what we're doing collectively for the kids. And so I'm like, yo, this tenure track faculty thing is not paying me as much as some of the things you have available to you. But because we're on the same page and because we have the same principles,
Yeah.
like I think it's pretty easy to align. Like our principles and values are aligned in such a way that we can think about like, hey, all right, how do we want to spend our money? Like two of the big priorities that we have for our children are things that expand their mind. So obviously library books, yeah, books, experiences that are related to that, but also physical health. And so a lot of our extracurricular spending is around swim lessons, soccer, track, all the associated gear that comes with each one of those things. Getting
Traveling.
Traveling
For sports.
and it can add up quickly, but because it's a collective value, it's something that we can approach with that same kind of spirit. Like, all right, we just got to figure it out. Like, how much do we need? How much do we need to set aside? Like, who's booking what? That makes it a lot easier to deal with.
And I think too that, being prepared, thinking about those principles, but also what are the priorities? And so we've talked about, wants versus needs, nice to have, must have, like those kinds of things. And for when we think about our spending for the kids, I appreciate that, our priorities and our principles are things that we try to align, which is, okay, we know that it's really important for them to be involved in some kind of, mental activity, something physical, something creative. And those are investments that we're making in our children. So yes, that's going to be a part of our budget. Saving for college, that's a must. It's going to be a part of our budget. And so making sure that the things that we know we have to have are there and then building the plan around it, right? So we've been talking about not just soccer, competitive travel soccer is also its own
There's a
sports
reason
world.
that our daughter is the only black girl on her team.
It is not inexpensive. It's an investment. I was like, are we still getting charged by them? What is this for?
There's something like, oh, you need these special practice jerseys,
Yo.
or else you're gonna look like a bum, poor person running around with the wrong color stuff when they take team pictures.
No, I need a caveat. Okay, so for you team sports people, when you want to include something that players have to have, please just put all those costs up front. When there's a one game uniform, a home uniform, and an away uniform, and a practice uniform, and a warm-up set.
Soccer academies should be free like they are in other countries.
Like,
There's a major flaw. Well, this is a digression, but there's a major flaw in the way that we do sports training for
yeah,
youth
it's about who has money.
in our country. Yeah, because it's very restrictive based on who can afford it, and I don't want to. But that doesn't
And
mean
time.
that doesn't mean that you can't stick to the P's and like the next P being planned.
Yes.
Right. Like, if we have decided that aligns with our principles and our priorities, then we need to plan accordingly. That means we need to save the money. We need to get ahead of it. We need to be thinking about the expenses that often can be invisible until you have an opportunity to go through a season. So I had no idea
Yo.
how expensive competitive travel soccer was going to be for our daughter because we live in Columbia, Missouri. All of the games are pretty much in St. Louis or in Kansas City. Each one of those cities is 2 hours away minimum. And you can't just show up there at the time of the game. You probably got to spend the night. And a lot of time it's tournaments. And we're traveling with the whole family because everybody's trying to support. And now we'll be much better prepared for next season.
Yes.
Yeah, like if she continues to do this, which I expect her to, we'll be much better prepared for next season because we'll be able to anticipate some of the expenses. Like, hey, it costs money to go to these things. Hey, it costs money to buy alcohol to hang out with the parents. Hey, it costs money to
Shout out to the soccer moms.
yeah, like and dads.
And dads.
Disrespect.
Sorry,
Yeah, even
I
though
just-
it is the
you
Mean
know,
Girls.
it's-
Yeah, like the Soccer Moms Mean Girls Club.
It feels very.
Donna and Marjorie were adopted immediately, I will say.
It's like a sorority. It's what I imagine like a, I don't know, like
Like a white
Tri-Delt or,
sorority?
yeah, like Alpha Phi. I don't know.
You don't know?
They're just so, they're
yeah.
so nice.
But I think that relates to the last P, which is patience.
Yes.
You have to have patience around any and all money conversations because the more important thing is for you to be on the same page and for you to be putting whatever your priorities or shared responsibilities are first. And so we have a shared responsibility to take care of our children, Maximilian and Macaria, and ensure that they have experiences that align with our life plan for them and their emerging preferences to the extent that,
It's reasonable.
is reasonable. And so us being on the same page and us being patient with each other and like being patient with the evolution of it, right? Like we have a whole nother set of expenses that we weren't anticipating. It requires an adjustment,
Yes.
but we'll be patient with each other and we'll be patient with the larger world, even though they're trying to charge us a nickel and dime us for everything available until we can adjust accordingly and put a new plan into place that's going to work for everybody.
And I think that when we talk about planning and patience, it's also important to remember that the focus should be on your children. And similar to what we said last time, like, are you focused on your values or what's actually best for your kids? Because sometimes we're not going to always agree. And Michael and I don't always agree. Surprise. But I think that we have.
Wait, what do we not agree on?
I think when it comes to like smaller things, sometimes
You got to be concrete. Yeah. Like, don't be abstract.
I'm not being abstract. I'm just trying to. Like I think hair is a good one because it falls into this like.
Oh, because I'll be having to get the boy's haircut out of my own money.
When Macaria has non-chemical toxic hair, I pay for that.
Exactly.
Which
means that we should be planning and budgeting. The boy gets his haircut way more often than Macaria gets her hair done.
Yeah, but when she gets her hair done, it costs more than what his regular hair.
I bet that if we were to stack them up side by side, that I'm paying as much.
Okay.
As much. He gets his haircut 4 or 5 times between each time that she gets her hair braided.
Okay. But her hair, okay. So this is why we need to budget.
Yeah, this is what.
And have these conversations.
Yeah. This is like, he's coming to the barbershop with me. They're like, hey, what up, little man? Psh.
So, right. So even that I think is, figuring out where the things that are important, the things that feel like needs, having conversations and talking to each other because we don't always do that. And, again, Michael and I recognize that even for us, this is not just automatic. It doesn't just happen. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah. So I guess as we wrap this up, like, what do you think are the key takeaways? Like, if somebody were listening to this episode, what do you hope they got from it?
Talk about money regularly, both with your partner and your kids. I think is really important. And find a framework that works for you. whatever that might be. Dave Ramsey was our first like financial.
It was really powerful because I think it gave us a shared lexicon to like not only talk about money, but to think about money and be on the same page.
Yeah.
And so love Dave Ramsey, love Tiffany Liche. I think you have to find. There's some cat that I've been reading recently. I think it's Ramit Sethi. He's an Indian cat. I really like some of his frameworks too. But find somebody who you trust. Most of the gurus are saying the same thing.
Right.
There's just like little
minor
slight tweaks to how they want you to approach it. But find somebody that you trust and stick to it. Like find a framework that works for you and stick
and
to
just
it.
do that. Yeah. And that it's important to separate your conflicts. And so if you're talking about money, then don't be like, and then you also forgot to pick up Jimmy Bob.
Yeah, or like, and that's why
football.
because you the type of nigga that don't put down the toilet seat. And you're like, yeah, like, fam, what does that have to do with?
Literally the price of Team
Yeah,
China.
like this
Like, what?
$140 charge in the account. Like, I'm confused. Like,
So focus your conversation, stay on topic. I think is another important part, particularly when you might be dealing with conflict or that this conversation might be one that brings about conflict.
yeah, I think for me, I really think as it relates to the kids, like teaching them that no is a complete sentence, but also that no isn't necessarily a don't ever ask again.
Right.
It's just a like that's not going to work right now, or we have other priorities, and so you can always circle back. It's okay for you to express your needs. I don't want them to feel like hit dog. Like I feel like it sounds like both of us felt when we were little kids. Like,
Yeah.
oh, why should I ask? I'm just gonna get told no. Like,
Don't bother.
hustling, hustling, hustling,
Right.
hustling.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I was like, I'm throwing these papers. Like, I'm selling this winter fresh.
What is it? Fitfo?
Yeah.
And lastly, I feel for everyone, it is vital to remember that everything we do is a work in progress. No one's ever going to be perfect at anything. And it's important to be patient with ourselves in the same way that we're patient with, our partners, co-parents, parents, whatever. And that, I don't always make the best financial decisions.
I mean, it's like a cheat meal.
I
I like the working out
yes.
thing. It's like, yo, like you're not gonna eat perfect all the time.
All
Every once in a while you're gonna slip and you're gonna
Like-
buy something dumb like Taco Bell Y2K menu, and your coach is gonna watch the pod.
I was in a dark place.
I'm struggling. Nobody's helping me. Get it together, Grouch.
How are
But-
we even alive, Dad?
Yeah, but I do think I think that's a good place to end, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfect. You do need to choose and plan accordingly. And so if we had a challenge for you, it's whether you're out here as a solo person and you happen to watch, we love you too. You're co-parenting or you're married. We challenge you to zero-based budget and actually sit and have a real fiscal conversation with yourself or with your partner or your partners. If you have the privilege of a wife and a baby mama that both make more than you, that you have to be a good steward of their resources so that you can be a good steward of your children's resources. Because it matters.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get anywhere without setting a good foundation for communication.
Absolutely. So thanks for listening.
If this conversation resonated with you, do us a huge, huge, huge favor. Like the episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on all our socials. I actually be going crazy on Instagram, so that's the best one.
And please feel free to drop a comment below. Tell us what you liked, what you hated, where you'd like us to dig deeper, or even if you think we missed something. We're always learning and growing, and we want to make sure that we're creating content that resonates with viewers like you.
And most importantly, and this is a huge one, if you know somebody who could benefit from hearing the conversations that we're having on this episode, please share. Sharing is caring. We're doing this for the love and to build a community because it matters.
And at the end of the day, that's the most important part, creating spaces where we can have real, honest conversations about the things that matter to you, education, parenting, relationships, and everything in between.
So thanks for being part of our community. Go check out the catalog of other episodes if you haven't. And we look forward to seeing you next time on the Parents and Professors podcast.
Above, we let no